So all I have to do is press this green button over here, right? Darren says. Meredith asks Meredith. Exactly, Meredith says. The rest will become obvious once you press it. Alright, here I go, Darren says. And then he does exactly as Meredith told him. Wow, this is, I don't know how to describe it, Darren says. Amazing. It's like every single piece of information that I wanted to know is almost within reach. It's not quite close enough. The more I try to get closer to it, the further it gets. But I feel like if I could just spend a few more seconds like this, I'd eventually get my answer. Is mesmerizing. Unfortunately, this is as far as you can get as a beginner. The connector helps you become aware of the infinite potential of the node, but in order to actually get something concrete out of it, you need months and months of hard work. Yeah, I think I get what you mean. Darren says as he presses the green button again to cancel his connection to the node. If I calm down and think about it logically, it's clear that getting the knowledge I need won't be anywhere near as easy as it seemed at first glance. But you weren't kidding about the infinite potential being infinite. Even you're talking about just improving my magic. There's still tens of thousands of things that I could make use of. At the very least, now I know that I didn't come all this way to Waraithia for nothing. Can I try it next, I say. Yeah, sure thing, Barry, Darren says, and then he hands me the device. I think you're going to love it. Let's see. I say as I get closer to the node, I press the green button. As soon as I do, I immediately understand what Darren was talking about. I'm still aware of the world around me, but at the same time, I feel like my mind is connected to an endless library full of books containing knowledge dating all the way back to the beginning of the universe. However, the access to them is clearly limited. I don't think this is just because of me being inexperienced. In fact, it is far more likely that the limit has been placed by the designer of this device in order to avoid traumatizing people who are not ready to see the real thing. Having touched the Magium node once already, I can tell with a high degree of certainty the information available to me right now is only a small fraction of what the Magium has to offer. I'm actually starting to think that the green button is meant to only give me a small taste of Magium's knowledge. The red button is in fact the real access to me. We should try pressing it. It'll probably kill us, so I'm gonna save. Well, we have done a lot of shit today, so let's do this. Press the red button. Small taste of a big price. I decide to ignore Meredith's advice from before to press the red button. No, not the red button, Meredith says loudly when she sees what I'm doing. You're not ready. The calm and peaceful sensation that I had before is entirely gone. I feel as if I were caught inside the stream of a very strong river while barely able to hold my head above the water. There is so much information flooding my mind right now that it is simply impossible to make heads or tails of anything. Meredith was right. Maybe this is too much for me to handle. Maybe I should just press the red button again and call it quits. Now, I can't just leave this place empty-handed. I'm sure that if I focus really hard, I can at least get one good piece of information out of this. I just need to think of something concrete, something that is both easy to learn and useful to me in a short term. What could that be? Realizing that I'm running out of time, I focus on the very first thing that comes to my mind, my air currents. I then snatch the information of it in a matter of seconds. I press the red button again, closing my connection to the Magium node. Barry, are you okay? Flower asks me with a worried look on her face. Now, I didn't mention it, my body does seem to be violently shaking, but I didn't notice that until now. Up until a moment ago, the Magium was all I could think of. Yeah, I'm alright, I say as I stop myself from trembling. Phew, that was quite a ride. I should have known that warning would be pointless when it comes to you, Meredith tells me as she shakes her head in disapproval. At least I hope that you learned something from this. I did learn something actually, I say, and then activate my air currents, which are now helping me stay afloat above the ground without any more stability issues. Thanks to the knowledge I gained from the Magium. Look, my air currents work properly now. I was thinking more along the lines of learning to listen to others when they warn you against doing something stupid, but I suppose this will have to do for now. That is, okay, who's going next? After me, Kate was the one who volunteered, and then Hardrick. Both of them seemed impressed, but they have seen, but you could easily tell from their reaction that unlike me and Darren, the two of them weren't all that interested in the Magium. Meredith also invited Melindra to try the Magium connector, but she politely declined, since despite her recent interaction with Aiden, she still considered him to be a friend, so she didn't want anything to do with the Meredith's deal to have him killed. The last one to try out the device was Flowers. Just as she was about to press the green button, Luna's blue eyes suddenly started glowing as she took control of the body. Allow me, Luna says as she presses the red button, then also a few other buttons in quick succession. Seeing what she is doing, Meredith crosses her arms, giving Luna a reproachable look, but she lets her finish what she wants to do and only comments on her actions when she comes to return the device. You've used this type of device before, haven't you? Meredith asks Luna as she takes the Magium connector from her hands. Yes, I did. Luna says, however, our old device broke a while ago, and it has been rather difficult to procure a new one since then. I thank you for being generous enough to lend us one of yours. You're most welcome, Meredith says. Of course, had I been aware that you'd known how to use it, I would never have given it to you in the first place, but I suppose you already knew that, considering you never bothered to tell me about this minor detail. So did you find what you were looking for at least? I found quite a bit more than what I was looking for, actually, Rina says. I believe that this newly acquired knowledge will be very helpful in helping me develop some techniques that I've been working on the past few days. It's funny that 2 people got so much information out of this, or 3 people actually. Well, Darren didn't get exactly direct information, like he got data rather than information, but whatever. So at least 2 people got something majorly useful out of this, and she said it takes years, so this is quite interesting. But then again, our character, and she's old. Well, Illumina is not old actually. Illumina is also 30. Whatever. Lovely, Meredith says. Well, I think that about concludes our session. I hope you've all gotten a good idea of just how much you could gain by helping me again. I'm not asking you to make the decision now, but it would still be nice if... Meredith, we suddenly hear a voice echo from inside the Magium node. Approach. Yes, creator. Meredith says. She immediately gets... we're gonna fight. As she immediately stops what she was doing and gets closer to the node. Your aura is trembling again, Araka. Illumina says, oh, shut up. Araka tells her. Only Meredith, says a different voice, but still coming from the node. No outsiders. Of course, creator, Meredith says. Then she turns to us. Could you please wait outside for a few minutes? Sure, Darren says. We won't want to intrude. Let's go, guys. You don't have to tell me twice, Hardrick says. As we all get out of the room, then we're probably going to get fighting. We need to run out of this place, I feel like. And then tap on the wall to close it behind us. So what do we do now, Hardrick says. After a few seconds of awkward silence, do we just wait here or do we go exploring? I wouldn't recommend doing exploring without Meredith, Dan says. You guys may have gotten lucky the first time with 2 guards, but there are other Lassetti who may be looking for any excuse to start a fight with you, especially if they know about Meredith giving away the holy scepter of Helden Busorag to Kate. It would be better if we waited here. Works for me, I say. This means that I'll have some time to look through the list of spells from my stat device. I've already recognized a few of the spells that Brynhorn was using on a daily basis while I was apprenticing for him. Actually helped him modify some of these to be a little more efficient. Let me see if I can still remember. If I still remember the... Greetings, friends. I suddenly hear the Overseer voice coming from one of the blue crystals on the ceiling. The Overseer Protocol would like to apologize for the previous rude behavior. I realize now that completely ignoring you during our last encounter was not very polite of me. What do you want? Overseer Darren asks him bluntly. First of all, I wanted to report to you that as promised, the issues concerning the Ceridium towers from Valinor will soon be resolved, the Overseer says. Upon closer analysis, I've concluded that these towers were not operating at full capacity, which is why I am now in the process of adding more maid slaves so that everything will work more smoothly. No thanks are necessary. You heartless bastard, Kate says furiously. Did you really show yourself before us just to tell us that? No, this was only one of the reasons, the Overseer says. The second reason was I have decided to contact you is to warn you about Meredith. She may seem like your ally, but I do not believe that she has your best interests at heart. I took the liberty of recording part of Meredith's ongoing discussion with the Magium so that I can show you what I mean. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Sorry, Darren says. It's going to be a little hard to trust you after what you've just told us about the prisoners about the Ceridium towers. As expected, the Overseer ignores Darren completely and he just plays the conversation that he recorded by using the blue crystal. Some people told me that I should speak slowly, but it's just so exciting to read this. So I just like, even if I try to, like I've seen, once I read that comment, I was like, I'm gonna slow down a little bit. But then I was like, oh man, this is like, I don't even realize when I fucking speed up. It's just so much fun to read. Creator, with all due respect, I think you might be underestimating Aiden. We hear Meredith's voice coming from the crystal. The message he sent us was very clear. He told us to remember the still winter. This is almost certainly his way of telling us that he knows exactly what we are trying to do and that he is confident in his ability to stop us. I've also received reports that in the past few days he has been teleporting all over the continent preparing a powerful spell of his own. If we don't do something, we might lose our last chance to end him for good. What do you suggest? The Magium fragment says in the voice of an old man. It might not be the ideal scenario, but if we were to accelerate our plans, we might be able to get everything ready in a few days. And then Meredith says, but the Magium fragment interrupts her. No. The Magium fragment says loudly, this time in the voice of a young woman. The plan must not be rushed, or it will surely fail. Do you understand? Yes, Creator, Meredith says in a reluctant tone. I understand. As you can see, Overseer tells us over the recording has ended. Meredith, in fact, knows a lot more about Aiden's message than she would have you believe. My preliminary analysis also suggests that this plan of hers may not affect only Aiden, as she seems to claim, although I am yet to find out all the details. Diane, would you happen to know how exactly Meredith intends to deal with Aiden? Oh, right, this is probably going to. Oh, shit.